From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. A deal could be happening. The president addressed the American people and also the congressional leaders minutes ago. Is there a deal or is there not a deal? I have the latest inside information happening minutes ago. LA told you so. Nancy's trying to call a vote on the roads and bridges today. Hashtag block the road. The newest hashtag campaign heating up from this channel. The price is right. $1.7 trillion is the new price tag, and $550 billion of that will be for climate. Then, programs in, programs out. You're going to be shocked. I am as well. But I'll also explain what out means. It's not a finish line at the moment. Then, we're going to be looking over to student loan debt. More debt could be forgiven across the board. This is by executive order. And then, the incredible details about this stimulus coming around right behind it. That is right after your COLA raise. The SSI and SSDI could see more money next year. And those details and more. Then I'll have my commentary about a situation that's very fluid. I don't think ever in the history of this channel have I ever brought so much notes on set for recording. I am literally up to maybe 55 pages of notes on this side and more on that side just for today's recording. And let me tell you this, it's more than what the president has on the recon. The framework, as AOC says, it's on the back of an envelope. Well, I wish I could have prepared for today on the back of an envelope because there is so much breaking news. It's shocking because the toast was toasting, the butter is buttering, and the recon legislative text is not being presented. I have all the breaking news starting right here on Mornings LALATE. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope the weather is good where you are. The president addressed the American people minutes ago saying a deal has happened, but it hasn't happened. So why did he say that? And the president going to meetings with House members and Senate members minutes ago, what did they say? I have the breaking news. It's just minutes ago. LA told you so. Nancy's trying to call the vote on the roads and bridges by the end of today. Block the road is the new hashtag campaign of this channel. I'll explain to you why. The price is right, $1.75 trillion. The president got it down to 1.75. It was $2 trillion yesterday. What got out? Programs in, programs out. You're going to be shocked. The president says Americans aren't going to be happy with their programs not in there, but guess what? This is not the finish line. We'll be going over more about the details of what's unfolding because a very, very fluid situation. This is not something that people have agreed upon. It's very much fluid. I'll explain to you what's going on. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt could be forgiven, and then fifth stimulus right behind that. And then I will give you my commentary in the final minutes of this video because, boy, in all the months of recording, I don't think I've ever seen a day like this one. You are literally going to give yourself a disservice if you miss any video across the board today because the situation is changing not every hour, not every 2 hours, every 5 minutes. I've never seen a news cycle where words are coming out by the minute. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family, and I want you watching all the videos today because it's going to be a very fluid situation. In fact, it may go very late night tonight, even though I can't record late night, with a potential vote from Nancy Pelosi looming around 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Consider becoming like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's go first right over this recon and the details, and then the second half of this video, all the massive breaking news. So first, a recon was passed 3 weeks ago in a subcommittee that pays Americans $3.5 trillion across the board. That is no longer the price tag. We're now at 1.75, coming down from 2 trillion yesterday. But this recon will still somewhere around the board pay viewers about $15,000. That's great news. This is for people who are single individuals, people who are not, people who have children, people who don't have children, people who are on disabilities, people who are not on disabilities, people in red states, people in blue states. This is money for you. It's splattered across 3 clusters of checks and then 3 add-ons. I have a lot of updates, and these are shocking updates. These are totally different than yesterday, totally different than this morning, and it starts right now with cluster number 1. So, hazard pay, confirmed in there. The earned income tax credit extended for one more year. That's for my essential workers. The $4,000 of elder care, believed, confirmed in there because they got the other elder care in there as well. $4,000 as well for young children's care per year. Then the money for college students, the Pell Grant made tax-free in there. And the money for the university and the student Pell, the grants as well got in there. The child tax credit, 1 year, $60,000, $36,000 or $3,600 or $3,000 for that 1 year based upon the age of the child. Then the money for repairs of that home if you're in a low-income community, believed in there because they got the money for housing in there as well. Then the money for bikes, cars, and trucks, all U.S. auto manufactured. Let me make an explanation about this one. In there, but it already was in there. This is almost a pre-Trump law, and they're just extending it more years. Now up to 10 years, they're seeing 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, personal use a little bit more for business use, and also for a truck. It's already existing law. They're just extending it for more years. That is your first cluster of checks and their fate. Now, the first add-on is that Maxine Waters $25,000 for the purchase price of a new home. Not surviving at $25,000, but there may be some amount of money that's surviving because guess what? The housing money survived. Yes, you're going to see in this video that the Maxine Waters housing money survived and is rent, mortgage assistance, home repairs, and potentially this as well. As we go into the second cluster checks, yes, the home repairs survived. But what about paid leave? Let's go over each of these right now. And this is breaking news. You're seeing it for the first time on this channel. Get ready to be shocked. Paid family leave, out. Paid medical leave, out. Campaign promises from the President of the United States. Babies of Nancy Pelosi, these are her promises, out, gone. Childcare, we don't know. Household tax credit, believed in there. Then pre-kindergarten, in there, survived. Tuition-free community college, I fear it's out because I haven't heard about it in the last few hours. If it's in there, it's less than 2 years. And then money to weatherize your home. The joke is always the same joke. The weatherizing your home weatherizes the negotiations. The reason why weatherizing your home is in there because it survives negotiations. Apparently it survived. Definitely needed, especially if Kristen Sinema comes knocking at your door for campaign donations. Lock the door quickly. Let's go to the second add-on, which is from Bob Casey, that wonderful senator from Pennsylvania. The home health care survived. Wow. So this is for my seniors, my people on disability, the home health care, totally free, provided to you from your state. It will not be $250, which is what he wanted. He wanted $250. It's going to be somewhere in the $175 range, but it survived. Great news about that. And here we go with the third cluster. Step away from the fine china because this one's going to be a shocker. All right, you're ready for this one. Let's go over the details of this right now. And I'm going to go over the summary of it. I have the details of this later in this video. Stay the final 15 minutes of this video. There's a lot in this video. Trust me. Free school meals for all. I don't think it survived, but I don't know. Cheaper prescription medication. They got an agreement with Kristen Sinema overnight. Joe Biden got an agreement with Kristen Sinema about prescription medication. And then guess what? The president took it out. Yeah, more about that coming up in a second. Farmers, I don't know. Free internet, I don't know. Clean energy, out. Workers, I don't know if it's still in there. And then the Medicare expansion, dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age. I got to say this on camera, right to you with my eyes wide open. The Medicare expansion, which is the number one priority, the progressives, Pramila Jayapal, and Bernie and Liz Warren. Medicare expansion across 50 states got solved yesterday by the wonderful work of Raphael Warnock from Georgia and Jim Claiborne from the Carolinas. They got it across all 50 states so that the Democrats don't have to pick up the tab for the Republicans. But the lowering the eligibility age from Medicare 65 to 60, I don't know, or 65 to 55, I don't know. But I do know the fate of the dental, vision, hearing. Gone. Yes, the dental gone, the vision gone, and the hearing is the only one surviving. Now, you're going to see in just a second in this recording, I'm going to explain to you what the word gone means. It literally means gone at the moment of this recording, and no one is agreeing to it being gone. Yes, it was there yesterday. It's gone right now. More about that in a second. Let's go to the third add-on from this channel. And you, for the first time ever, are really in a kumbaya relationship with those progressives, because guess what? Today, the progressives are waking up and realizing that their bread and butter, the prescription medication, gone, dental gone, vision gone. What is left in there for them? They're not agreeing to that. They're not agreeing to that. And that is why you're in a kumbaya relationship with them, because your MSC is one of the things that needs to be in there as well. What's important to understand is that we do not have a bill. We do not have a text. We do not have an agreement of what's gone or not gone. The status that something's gone at the moment means that someone has removed it, but that does not mean that the progressives agreed upon it. The only thing that's different right now about the MSC that was different than yesterday is the following. Close your ears if you don't want to hear this. Chuck Schumer is on board for calling the roads and bridges for a vote today. Chuck, come on. Of course, Chuck Schumer is the guy that wants to give you the monthly stimulus check. He told Debbie Applegate's wife. He told Donnie. He told Debbie Applegate. He told Donnie and Donnie's wife, and also the other viewer. That's not to say it hurts the MSC, but come on, Chuck. Why are you calling the vote on the roads and bridges? Now, spoiler alert, the roads and bridges vote is not going to happen. It's coming up later in this video. It's going to get blocked. But, boy, this is why you have to advocate, because guess what? You're never going to see a video like this where everyone has smoke and fire coming out of their nostrils. And that is how you should feel as well, because advocacy is at issue. Let's open that big comment that we need to look at as a family, which is from the number one senator to the equation, and that message from that Senate office. Chief of Staff wrote, they now have in total more congressional senator, they have in total between congressional senator offices receive more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. And now they have a better understanding of what the Americans are trying to do to get through this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories in the LA viewers. And they have the voice of the people across the nation in you, LA, as you have been too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind. Let's read the last sentence on air because it means everything for us, especially in a day like today. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as you have become the professional voice of the people, LALATE, and continue this until it becomes law. Very, very kind. This is huge. Why? Because imagine you're pushing to get your MSCs in there. There are people that literally are looking at this and as progressives saying no dental, no vision, no expansion of Medicare, no prescription medication. And there's people looking at it saying there's no paid leave. Yeah. So the situation is very fluid. This is not the final line. This is actually something that perhaps they don't even have 50 senators agreeing upon. So then what is, if it's removed, why is it being removed if they don't even have 50 senators? And I don't mean 48. They may not even have 40 senators agree to what is right at the moment. All the latest details, it's very, very shocking. You have never seen a recording like this. I just taped the afternoon's recording, and it literally felt like a hot mess when I was recording it. It literally felt like a hot mess because I literally was trying to cover 9,000 things in 10 seconds. Let's see if my second time around on this recording may be a little bit better. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as we go over the shocking developing details that are unfolding literally in the last minute. As the president just addressed the American people, just addressed the progressives. I have the breaking news coming up in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. and then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as a deal is happening, but when? Not today. The president just addressed the American people, and I saw the comments in the live chat in the commercial break. Much of what the president said during his press conference was inaccurate and not accurate whatsoever. I'll explain to you why the president's window dressing something that's not there. LA told you so. I told you that Nancy Pelosi was going to call a vote on the roads and bridges today. Block the Road is the new hashtag campaign for this channel. Started on Twitter. This channel started this morning. I'll tell you the latest details. The price is right. It's going from $2 trillion to $1.7 with $550 billion of it for climate. Programs in, programs out. You're going to be shocked by this one. Student loan debt. More debt could be forgiven across the board. Whose debts are being forgiven? All of the latest details about that. We'll be turning to fifth stimulus. The exciting details is that it's right behind that, behind this, and maybe this is good to fifth stimulus right now. And then we turn to my commentary of the situation. You want to watch that final 3 minutes of this video because the commentary will explain to you a little bit better of what's going on because it's a very, very confusing situation. If you're just watching press conferences from the President of the United States, I got to tell you, I know he's the President of the United States. It's not an accurate press conference. It's not an accurate press conference. And there you go. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, YouTube record. I don't care. He's not being accurate. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's go over all the details starting right now. And here's Bernie. I just have to put up Bernie's picture because we need to have a kumbaya moment for a second. All right, let's go over the details. There's a lot to cover. I'm going to go over everything I can. Here is what's at issue. First, let me explain to you what the president's trying to do so you understand the situation. The president has two bodies of legislation, roads and bridges and the recon. Roads and bridges has already passed the Senate. It needs to be called for a 10-second vote in the House and it becomes law. Recon doesn't even have a bill. Recon at the moment has basically, you see how much notes I have on set? Today, to prepare to go on set, I literally took double my amount of time. I have about 55 pages on set for just my left side of my body. That's more than the president has written about the recon. The president for the recon has written about one piece of paper. You're going to hear a common word today and perhaps the next week. Framework. What is framework? Framework means air. It means nothing. It means a piece of paper. It means the back of an envelope as AOC. The president has not gotten the recon reduced to anything but perhaps a half a piece of paper. It's not a bill. It's not a draft. It's not an outline. It's not a binder. It's really nothing. And so what the president had a press conference today was he had an agreement on a framework for the recon. No, he doesn't. Let me tell you why he's doing this. The president has to go overseas for the G20 conference about climate today, so he can meet with the Pope and Jill can go to Rome and visit the beautiful shops. And the president was asked, as I had said in commentary over the last 2 days, who are you leaving to negotiate the recon if you're leaving? Yeah, he got that message. So he delayed the plane, Air Force One, for taking off later so that he could do the following. First, blitz the press last night, saying that he had a deal with Joe Manchin and Chris Sinema for the $1.75 trillion. He doesn't. Number two, that he could say, we've agreed upon the framework of the recon. He hasn't. People haven't agreed upon this. Who has agreed upon it? Almost no one. I'll explain to you in a second that no one has agreed upon this thing. So if anyone's in the live chat right now and I saw some sort of down face emojis, sad. No. Don't be sad. This is not a deal. This is someone trying to tell you this is what we have, and no one's agreeing to that, meaning that the people who are negotiating are saying no, and so he's trying to say, we got a deal, and they just told him no. Then, next, the president wants to show this as a win before getting on a plane. Finally, an equation which I've been telling you for 2 months. I told you all this week was going to happen. What? LA told you so, that Nancy Pelosi was going to try to call the vote on the roads and bridges today. I told you all this week. And guess what? She had that meeting with Jalapal yesterday, Pelosi and Pramila, where Pelosi said, we're going to call the votes on the roads and bridges today. Pramila says, no, you can't. I'm not supporting it. Nancy said, we have agreement on what the recon is. No, you don't. You have a framework. I told you in September, we don't do framework. We have to have Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema sit on the Senate floor and vote yes in favor of the recon bill. Otherwise, we're not doing the recon, the roads and bridges for vote. We're not going to be doing this vagueness situation game. So that was yesterday. This morning, what did the president do? The president's plan, as announced last night, you saw it maybe in the live chat where I said it. The president planned the following. At 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to meet with the House Democrats and the Senate Democrats in separate meetings and say, I got a deal. It's wonderful. And it would be really nice if you vote in favor of the roads and bridges. Nowhere during that meeting did the president say, I want the vote on the roads and bridges today. Jalapal was the number one most sought after interviewee after the press conference after the meeting with the president. Why? Because they wanted to hear her insight of what happened. And what did Pramila say? Pelosi is the one who said, I'm going to call the vote on the roads and bridges today. The president never asked for the roads and bridges to be called for a vote today. Told you. So Pelosi immediately says she's ready to call for the vote. Pelosi also told the Democrat caucus, if you don't allow the roads and bridges to be called for a vote, you're embarrassing our president today. All right. The only thing we do know is that the price tag is 1.75. Why it got from 2 trillion to 1.75 overnight, no one really knows. But the programs in and the programs out, let's go over it in a second. But first, the deal. Here we go. So the president tried to make broadcast media run a story that he had a deal with Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. On Sunday, I told you that a number one U.S. broadcast media, I'll not say the name on air, it was NBC. NBC said that in Delaware, the president had a deal with Joe Manchin for the recon. He didn't. Today, NBC again said there's a deal for $1.75 trillion with Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema for the recon. There is no deal. There is no deal. In fact, Joe Manchin was asked 1 minute before I went on camera while walking the floors, did you reach an agreement with the president? He says, I'm not answering that question. He says, I've done good faith negotiations over the last few weeks, and I'm done. It's now in the hands of the House. What does that mean? Number one, he repeats that word good faith. You're going to hear a lot in this recording. Number two, he basically says he's done with the negotiations. Number three, he says it's up to the House. More about that in a second. So what's the reaction? Omar says, Democrat, progressive House member, we need to keep our promise that was made. We've been very clear. We need to see the two bills simultaneously move together, recon roads and bridges. The senators need to understand that urgency as well. They do. Pelosi, here's what Pelosi's comment is. Just get ready for this. Just get ready for this propaganda. We're very excited about it. We're going to send him off to his meetings with strength. What is she, like a high school cheerleader? What is that? Here's AOC. Can I frame AOC's quote today? I just love AOC's quote today. AOC says, I think we need something a little bit more than just something on the back of an envelope. I think the legislative text is one mechanism for getting us there. But I think there's other mechanisms. But it needs to be a little bit more than just the back of the envelope. Yeah, it feels as though the president wrote a few things on the back of a napkin and handed to you, because that's basically where we are. It's like you're at the bar and someone writes their phone number on a napkin and gives it to you, and the napkin's really dirty, and you're like, do I want to put this in my pocket? All right. I can't believe I said that. All right. Biden, when asked to going into the meetings this morning with the Democrats, said everyone's on board. Is your pants on fire also? Yeah, they're not on board, Mr. President. Let's go over the running count, because I do have a running count, and it's not good for the president. It's great for you. I want to see some smiley faces in the live chat. The reaction is that they don't think they have even 30 senators supporting the recon. Why? Because they've lost the progressives. Bernie and Liz are voting against it at the moment. They don't have any of the Republicans, of course, and they don't believe they have Kyrsten Sinema or Joe Manchin. The official comment from Joe Manchin is, I'm not giving you a comment. And the official comment from Kyrsten Sinema is, we've made great progress. That's good. That sort of sounds like persons who run marathons to stay away from news reporters. It doesn't answer the question. Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin, he says he's not voting in favor of it because he doesn't know what's going on. I agree with him. I wish I could say yes. There's a great deal of uncertainty with what is contained in the deal. And then a senior White House official said that they do not have enough votes. Oh boy, there you go. Reaction. Rokana says, Nancy knows how to count votes. I don't think she's going to bring the roads and bridges for a vote because she knows it's not on board. Senators are ready to block the roads and bridges. Senator Jeff Merkley out of Oregon says, a framework for the recon is part of getting it to a final bill, but I'm not okay with that. And I'm not okay with the infrastructure being passed by the House if we don't have a recon bill in the Senate. Let's go over that again because it's very, very important. Remember, the roads and bridges already passed as a bill in the Senate. It's already ready for a vote in the House. They call it, it's done. Poof, gone. The House recon, the recon doesn't even have a bill. It hasn't even passed either the Senate or the House. I know the procedural recon passed, but not the substantive recon. Here's a reaction from Bernie. Have you watched Bernie on this channel a lot? Here is a quote you've never seen before. He emerged from a Wednesday night negotiations with the president, and he was asked about how it went. He said, unconceivable. Yeah, this is probably because he was told that the prescription medication was out and the vision and dental was out. The minority should not be dictated by the majority, dictating to the majority, says Bernie. And then another one said, close to the negotiations, is exactly what we need, why we need legislative intent, and all the parties fully agreeing to that in bill text. Let's go over what they're saying. Progressives are saying what I've been saying all along. The only thing that's a little bit different is where it goes first. They're saying, and in fact, Joe Manchin says this as well, we need the recon written, called for a vote, Chris and Sinema and Joe Manchin saying yes, yes, and it passing. Otherwise, we're not going to vote on the roads and bridges because just saying a pamphlet or the back of a napkin for what may be in the recon is not going to work. Now, here's what's something a little bit different for the first time on this channel is that some progressives are saying, don't start the recon on the House side, start on the Senate side so you lock down the yes vote for Manchin and Sinema. I believe, but I'm not certain, I believe that if they start on the Senate side first, then the vote-a-rama would still go on the Senate either at that time or as a third step at the very end. You would not lose a vote-a-rama, to be very clear is what I'm trying to say. Okay, people on, here we got a new feature on this channel. Problem people and perfect people. Problem people. The president, Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. So disappointed in you, Chuck. And Ron Klain, the president's chief of staff. Why are they problem people? Because they all want the roads and bridges to be called for a vote. Now, the president didn't verbally say it, but he's implying it. Ron Klain did say it. Pelosi said it. And Chuck Schumer is saying it. Chuck, really disappointing. They have now all said, call the vote on the roads and bridges today. Remember, it's not going to pass. Here's what's fascinating. The roads and bridges may not pass, not only because of the progressives, but because of the GOP. Yeah. The GOP in the House has now gotten so upset about the whole situation that the president at one point had 20 House GOP members in favor of the roads and bridges in July. That appears to have diminished it to less than 10, maybe single digits. So the president's losing votes everywhere. Perfect people. All right, here's some positivity in this video. Perfect people. They are Pramila, Bernie, Omar, AOC, and those progressives. What's the running tally? The running tally looks like at the moment that we have 36 to maybe 40 plus progressives that are going to block any roads and bridges in the House. And then you may have all of the Republicans, with exception maybe 10. So you have a lot of people that are going to block it. That number seems to be growing. Pramila says, right now we have over 36 members who are very strongly about getting the recon done by a bill vote, not a framework. And that number's increasing. Veronica Escobar, who is the Democrat out of Texas, I featured a lot this week. She was the one who had a problem with Sinema. She's the vote counter for the progressives. She says nothing's changed for progressives. All right, here we go. This is the part of the video where your breath just sort of leaves you for a second. And before I go over this, I want to go right into the live chat right now. Let me go right into the live chat because I want to see if anyone is giving me a sad face. Good. There's no sad emoji in the live chat. I don't want sad emoji in the live chat. I'll tell you why. Because It's hard unless you have been a viewer of this channel and understand how legislation works to think that this is what it is. Someone who doesn't watch this channel would think this is the end. This is the finish line. This has been done. The president addressed the American people. We have a recon. We're done. We're finished. Blah, 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 blah. No. First of all, we don't have a bill. We don't even have a piece of paper. We don't have I mean, look how much paper I'm holding in my hand. This is how much paper I'm had. It's like 900% more than this has been written about the recon. We don't have a legislative intent. Now, you've heard me say in this channel that they wrote stuff, they had a package in the subcommittee. Yeah, but it's been changed so much now that they got to get it back to writing. Number two, they don't have an agreement to remove stuff. This sounds very confusing, but let me explain what's going on. Certain people in the last 24 hours said, I don't want this. For example, Joe Manchin saying, I don't want paid leave. So then we said, it's out. Chris and Sinema make an agreement about cheaper prescription medication. So it was in, but then the president took it out. Well, what do you mean the president took it out? He's not a legislator. He's not on the legislative branch. Or someone in the White House took it out. So I want you to understand, when something is out, it doesn't mean it's gone. It means it's out at the time of this recording. It sounds confusing, but hopefully it's clear. It's out at the time of this recording, but no one is agreeing that it's out. All right, so let's go over the running down. What's in? How many things are in this recon? The back of my fingernail. I can get it on the back. All right, here we go. Hazard pay in there for 1 year. You heard it earlier in this recording. Pre-kindergarten, which is for 3 to 4 year olds. One broadcast channel says it's 2 years. One channel says 6 years. I think it's 2 years. And hearing. And then vehicles, which was already an existing law pre-Trump. That's it. I mean, that's the recon. Yeah, at the moment, that's the that's the whole recon. Okay, what is gone at the moment? Everything for Medicare. Everything for seniors. Everything for prescription medication. Everything for paid leave. Dental, gone. Vision, gone. Medicare expansion, gone. Oh, out of breath. I mean, it takes your breath away when you say it. Bernie had it was 2 days ago, maybe it was 3 days ago, where I said on air, if you do not get the progressive priorities of the recon in there done, you don't have a recon. And the progressive priorities are prescription medication, dental, vision, hearing, Medicare expansion. Let me explain the status of each of them with Bernie's quote first, and then I'll explain to you the update right now. First, Bernie told us that the number one thing on people's mind is prescription medication cheaper. They feel they're being ripped off by pharmaceutical companies, paying 10% more for pharmaceuticals than the rest of the countries around the globe. And Big Pharma has 15 paid lobbyists right now in D.C. trying to prevent us from making a formula and get this done. They're all in Sinema's minivan. Any bill must have real Medicare negotiations in there to lower prescription medication prices. Notice he says at least negotiations of it in there. Well, guess what? It's gone. Gone. Now let's back up. This is shocking. It was first watered down. Then it survived. I'm going to show you how it survived in just a second. And then last night, the president reportedly reached agreement with Chris and Sinema on how to keep it in there. And then today we wake up and learn it's gone. Who removed it? Where was it removed? Now, if you walked up to Bernie Sanders and said, I heard from LALATE it was removed, I guarantee you Bernie Sanders' remark is going to say, I didn't take it out. That's a non-deal maker. So understand, the situation is that it's not agreed upon, meaning it's not in there. But there are people who are trying to say it's gone. And do you think progressives are going to sit back and accept that? No way. Then Bernie said there are people who do not have teeth in their mouth, do not have hearing aid, cannot see. Any recon must have serious negotiations and expanded Medicare for dental. Yeah, that's Mitch's plane. It's just like 2020. He says it must have dental, vision, and hearing. Well, guess what? Dental gone. Vision gone. What? Okay, so let's go over the rundown of the programs right now because I am just, I'm out of breath at the moment because some of this stuff is just, not to say this is where we're going to be by 5 o'clock tonight, But at the moment, the situation, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so let's go over the programs one at a time. Child tax credit, 1 year, $3,600 or $3,000 in there. The Pell's Grant, surviving. Community college, I haven't heard about for 24 hours. It may be gone. I don't know. Otherwise, it's 2 years. Paid leave. The president ran for the presidency by promising Americans paid leave. It's not in there. Nancy Pelosi proposed 12 weeks for everyone, including self-employed workers. Did not survive. They reduced it to 4 weeks, low income only, and employees at $100 billion. It was only going to cost $100 billion. Removed. They removed it, even though it was only going to be $100 billion. Then, prescription medication. It was out. It was reduced. Well, Bernie wanted it a lifetime for all Medicare. Then they got it for Medicare Part B, which one nice viewer said to me, it's diabetes, medication, insulin. It was in there for that. At the time of this recording, while Sinema agreed to expand it more than this, it's reportedly out. Childcare in there, that's good. Clean energy out. Health insurance, I believe it's in there. This is where it gets strange because I always fall into my bad default. Listen to broadcast media. If I don't see healthcare insurance on the broadcast media's graphic, is it out? I don't know. But I haven't heard it mentioned in 24 hours. I believe it's in there. Housing is in there. Good. This is rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, also home repairs, in-home healthcare for my seniors and my disabled people in there as well. Then the SALT, which is state and local tax deduction cap, lifted, not lifted. And then the Obama subsidies, out. I believe it's in there. So the situation right now is that you have a president who's trying to really window dress the situation. You don't have Democrats on either the Senate side or the House side supporting the status of where this recon is at the moment, for whether it's too small or too big. No, people are not supporting it. And the president's trying to just look like everything is rosy, punky-dory, and it's not. If something's not working, why pass it off as something it is? I have big commentary coming up in just a second. And the commentary, I think, will help explain the situation for you because I sort of wrap it together. All right, student loan debt. Let's go over that quickly. Student loan debt, more debt could be forgiven. The president has forgiven 3 rounds. What were those? The president forgave student loan debt for individuals who became disabled after graduation. Then the president forgave student loan debts just a few days ago for people who went to work in the nonprofit sector 10 years after graduation. But the big win was the president forgiving student loan debts for individuals who went to work in the nonprofit sector 10 years after graduation. That is city, county, state, or federal government. Your debts have now been forgiven. The president has now proposed to forgive an additional $10,000 across the board. Democrats should take it. Then your COLA raise. Your benefits could be going up with this stimulus, which at this point... No joke, but I think they should call fist stimulus for a vote right now. Don't you think? So I think they should. I mean, if we're working on stuff on the back of a napkin, then why not use the back of the napkin for fist stimulus right now? I mean, it just makes sense. COLA benefits are going up 5 to 6% next year, but get ready because fist stimulus is right behind it. This is your raise of your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. And now one of the top legislators, House Budget Chairman John Yarmuth, says, get ready to do fist stimulus right behind this, which will force the Republicans to vote against it, and we'll get it passed right before the midterm election. How's it going to work? First, they're going to raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. That benchmark is going to be good because inflation is going to be 1 to 3% next December. That means you'll get this lift, then a second, then a third. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Finally, because of running time, I haven't had time to go over third stimulus for several days, but consider becoming a member. The newsletter the membership link is under the video. Consider becoming a member today. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. It's also on the top of the chat. And get that newsletter that comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, from me to you. It details all the big money available still under first, second, third stimulus. The rent aid, utilities, mortgage assistance, the assistance from the nonprofits featured in there, and the Treasury money as well. It features also money for homeless people into shelters and also things like small appliances across the board. Consider becoming a member today. And with that, let me go into my commentary as I go into where we are at the time of this recording. It's a very fluid situation, first of all. You have to understand, it's just before 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Last time in September, Nancy Pelosi attempted to call a vote on the roads and bridges around 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is almost midnight on the East Coast. She attempted to. She never called it for a vote. It was blocked. At that time, Pramila said, we have to have a framework. Let me focus on positivity first. Never in the history of this channel have I ever felt a one in the same, and you should feel a one in the same with a person, and that is Pramila. If you had not seen what Pramila has done today, you really should applaud her. Pramila was brought into a meeting with other House Democrats with the President of the United States. What was his message? We have a deal. We have a recon. I want you to really vote on that roads and bridges. Pramila, in addressing the President of the United States, basically said, thank you, but no thank you. I'm not going to do that. And that was not your promise. She held her ground against the President of the United States. The President of the United States made a promise in September that the vote on the roads and bridges would never happen until we have an agreement on the recon. And that agreement would be formalized, not informalized. At the moment, the Democrats do not have agreement on the recon. We do not have senators on board for the recon, and we do not have House members on board for the recon for various reasons. First, Kristen Sinema's official statement minutes ago says the great progress. She looks to get the recon done. She looks to get it done, but she doesn't say she's agreed to what it is at the moment. Joe Manchin saying, I've negotiated in good faith for the last few days, and she uses that expression a lot, good faith. But he says it's now up to the House, meaning he would refuse to answer whether he agreed to where the recon is right now. And he basically seemed to suggest he's done negotiating. Then we have Bernie, Liz, and all these other senators you see in this recording who are Democrat progressives in the Senate. They're not agreeing to this recon at the moment because it doesn't have any of the priorities the Democrats agreed to during the negotiations. Now, currently on the outs, like dental, vision, and prescription medication, gone. On the House side, we don't have enough vote for anything. So you really have to praise Pramila. Why? If you look back to September, if it was not for Pramila, what would we have had? We would have had a roads and bridges bill called for a vote and passed. And your recon would have gone by the wayside. You would have had nothing. Today, you have a recon on the edge that needs to be fixed. It's not finalized. It's close. What do I not like of what I see in the last 5 hours, 8 hours, or 15 minutes? The president's window dressing and Nancy Pelosi's shoving things down our throat. I don't like that. I don't like that. If there was one thing Nancy Pelosi would always do in 2020 is she would make sure that she never tried to create the optics of dissent. She would always try to show people kumbaya, in complete agreement. But by shoving a vote for the roads and bridges down our throat again, that's going to show that you do not have support. It's going to show that the recon is not in the status that the president tried to window dress it today. The president's very obsessed with trying to show wins, and there is no win at the moment of the recon. The win in the recon is when it's done, and the recon is not a win at the moment. The recon at the moment is 1.75 trillion. 550 billion of that is climate. That's also another problem. This recon was supposed to be Americans' relief, build back better. Notice the expression, build back better. It was for helping Americans get back to normal. It was supposed to be help for the Americans with a sprinkling of climate. Help for Americans with a sprinkling of climate. Then suddenly it became help for Americans with climate. Now it's climate at $550 billion of 1.75 trillion with a sprinkling of sporadic money here and there for Americans. That's not the situation. The climate needs to be gutted. It doesn't need to be 550. When programs like $100 billion for paid leave falling out, that could have stayed in there at $100 billion. It's not a big price tag. And climate staying at the big price tag, that's the problem. The big problem starts at the top. The president understood he had a trip overseas. But in doing a trip overseas, no time or place to have a press conference with the American people, to window dress something that they don't know about, and to say he had a big win. Win for what? If you turned on conservative media today, guess what they talked about? Or even mainstream media when they had conservative analysts on. They said in this 1 week, the president has defaulted to 3 different pay-for programs for how to pay for the recon. This type of tax, that type of tax, this type of tax, that type of tax. What's a consistent theme? No one is going over details. People are not going over details. Joe Manchin, very good with numbers, very good with details. He does not want the roads and bridges call for a vote until there's a details for the recon. He wants to see the details of the recon. What did he say on Sunday in Delaware during the breakfast with the president? Who wrote this junk? You can't do this, when referring to the Ron Wyden $600 out of bank accounts being reported to IRS, or when looking at Republican states getting expansion of Medicare benefits for free and Democrat states having to pick it up. The president was right. Who wrote this? President's staff has not been up to par on this. His staffers have not delivered on writing things, doing them writing correctly, and following the path. Rather, it's been a little bit too much about optics. And with that, what I want you and I to know together as a family is, one, I don't want any upside down sad faces, because this is not a bill. This is not something that's agreed upon. This is now still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress, very, very close to the edge of the finish line. I don't want you to say, I heard the president on TV and I didn't hear this. What, did he also tell you he doesn't have a bill? Did he also tell you he doesn't have an agreement? Does he also tell you he doesn't have Sinema or Manchin? Did he also tell you he doesn't have Bernie or Liz Warren? He doesn't have, 35 House progressives. He doesn't have a lot of things. So did he tell you? No, he didn't tell you that. So I want you to understand it's information is where king. And unlike any other week, this is going to be a day in which the news cycle is going to change by the hour and potentially by the minute. Join me next with Noontime and live on air at 11 a.m. It will be live. It will be brand new. It will be the latest updates. It will be a behemoth. Trust me. Then we go into Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock, the new Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock, and the Evenings LA, which will be the latest update at 5 o'clock. We will see what will happen with the potential of roads and bridges called for a vote. Hashtag block the road. Go on social media. But continue to advocate, because guess what? That's what they're doing. You should be very, very proud of Pramila, very, very proud of Bernie, and also AOC, who said, back of an envelope, don't count. Don't work for me. Doesn't work for me either. Doesn't work for you? It doesn't. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work that way. They're going to get it done the right way. Not today, not in this form, but in a correct form. And we will go over the finish line together. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. Because I give you the detail, I give you the information, I give you everything you need to know. Lack of information causes insecurity and causes confusion. When you have the detail, when you have the information, you're ahead of the game and you know where things are going. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Join me next with Mornings Crypto. I think I have time to do a little bit of Mornings Crypto live on air as Doge gets to 30 cents. Wow. I have the latest details on that. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LA for more.